everyone, welcome to the Ignited Sparks podcast. We finally have a name, a home. So you'll see that wherever you're watching this. It might be on YouTube or SoundCloud or Spotify or Google Podcasts if they finally add our podcast. It's a weird system, but don't worry about that. Today we got
James here.
I'm Chris.
I'm Luke.
I'm Steve.
We totally forgot to do that last time, so forgive us if you don't actually know who we are, but now you do. Before we get started, in a few days on Wednesday, we are part of the early access stream. So we're going to be going live at about 5 p.m. New Zealand time, going all the way till 1 a.m. when the event ends, so you can check that out on Wednesday. We'll be streaming on YouTube, so if you subscribe to us, you'll get the update. Okay, so today, we'll be talking about mostly Eldraine, if not all of it. And these are about the 5 topics we'll be going through today. We're going to be first talking about the mechanics and what we think of them. Then we're going to go talk about some of the cycles, especially focusing on the mana the land cycles and how they're going to affect standard. Then we're going to go talk into our personal top 3s, what we're excited for, what we want to build, which will naturally go into what decks we're going to build in the next standard. And speaking of decks, we've also got a final topic about all the Magic news that's come out today, so we'll finish off with that. So, yeah, Steph, do you want to tell us what the mechanics are of Eldraine?
So we've got 3 main ones, which are Adventure, Adamant, and Food.
Cool.
So you might have seen the new weird Adventure cards, where you've got a creature, that's your main card, so it'll have a cost, and then attached to it is a sorcery or instant, which you can cast before you cast the creature. When you cast the sorcery or instant, after it resolves, the creature goes into exile, and you can cast it at any point on the game. Unless it's taken out by the one card that does that.
or Eldrazi processors. Don't forget about those.
But once you've cast the creature and it's in your graveyard, you can't cast the instant sorcery. What about food?
Food is like energy, but you can interact with it. It's, I don't know. I don't know if food's going to be evergreen or anything, but I'm not super excited for it beyond Eldraine.
Food kind of like with clues, how we never saw those again, right?
Yeah, but clues were really beloved. They'll probably come back. They're just really, they're really locked into that.
Because like we're slowly filling up the cycle, right? We've got draw a card, pay 2, draw a card. We got pay 2, gain 3 life, and then we had sack to add a mana. So they're like slowly. We're waiting for like one that's gonna do +1. There's one sack make up 1/1 guy or something.
Yeah, well they've got food, and before that they had treasures and they had clues.
Yeah.
But they did the same. So clues are really locked into Innistrad because of investigate. It's like a theme there. Whereas they did the same problem with treasure, where before they made it treasure, exactly the same thing existed, but as an Ethereum cell.
Yeah.
So they couldn't put that on another plane.
Yeah.
But then in Excellent they did treasure, and now it's evergreen, and
Yeah.
we just get treasure and random sets.
I feel like getting mana or getting card advantage is like so much better
It's
than just getting 3 life.
So much better, yeah. But food, it's like energy because you can consume the food to do like make a mana or bring something back from the graveyard, which reminds me of energy. So we'll see if it's gonna break or just be completely ignored by standard.
It'll be just as redundant with itself as energy was, but also less crazy playable.
Yeah,
most likely.
I think unless maybe like against burn, unless you're looking for, particularly in modern, you're looking for specific life gain cards.
Yeah.
Then the only time food is going to see playing constructed is when something does something else with food other than.
I can imagine at FNM someone's playing some janky Simic food deck and they've got like 10 food tokens and I'm playing mono red burn and they just spend one turn going, okay, I'll eat the food, eat the food, eat the food, eat the food. I'm like, okay, what? Oh, God. They were like 2 life. So that's gonna kick my ass one time, but you know. And what was the other mechanic? Adamant?
Adamant.
Yeah.
So, building up to devotion.
It's definitely a big hint.
It kind of doesn't really quite work with devotion, right? Because all the adamant cards only have one pip, one mana, coloured mana pip each.
Oh, true.
They're usually sorceries though.
A lot of them is sorceries, but there
really
are
encourage monocolored decks.
Yeah. I mean, mechanics as a whole usually don't always go into constructed. It's usually like 2 or 3 adamant cards or energy cards or whatever that make it to constructed.
The thing that's pushing the monocolored stuff more is that land cycle.
Yeah.
The ones with they have land types on them. The common cycle, those are all quite strong.
Yeah.
And they're all based around having only basics.
Yeah.
They're also the triple color cycle pushes it, and we have triple colors from previous sets. So like mono black already has triple colored creatures that are pretty playable. The thing that Dread presents. Whenever you play a swamp, it's already pretty good. So I think.
What do you mean by triple color? You mean triple pip?
Yeah, so triple black.
Yeah, triple color. Yeah.
Triple black, and then whenever a swamp enters, it does ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think there's gonna be a mono black build that runs Dread Presence for sure to make the most out of it. Man, I'm not looking forward to Adventure though in Constructed. It feels like it's gonna be so much value for people that are making the most out of it.
I think it's not, for the most part, it's not going to be too different from like Jumpstart.
Jumpstart,
things
Flashback, things like that.
anything where you cast 2 spells, Aftermath, those sort of things.
Yeah, except it's kind of like Jumpstart, except you don't have to discard a card to get it back.
Yeah, it's a free
like
card.
if you thought about having a Jumpstart card being that, but
it's kind of like Aftermath, but actually worse because
Worse?
you could only ever cast half. Well, Aftermath was the same thing, so you had to cast your.
This is definitely better than
first half
Aftermath.
first. But no, but sometimes like you're gonna want to play the creature first, and then your spell's just gone. If the creature's better, so the spell has to be the cards where the spell's good is gonna be where that played.
Yeah, like
the creature's just
Murderous Rider. Yeah, that's gonna see play till it rotates. Absolutely.
There's a couple of really busted adventures, but
Well, I mean,
some of them just seem not very impactful.
Yeah, well, not every card in a mechanic will make it in. Some of them are just for draft and things like that. Yeah.
we might like laugh at Murderous Rider being like so obviously good, but they had to replace Rescue's Continuous.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm just absolutely gonna be sick of people casting that against my stuff. All right, so let's move along to some of the cycles. Let's start talking about the lands that you mentioned. So we have a cycle of rare lands, which when they enter, they check for its correspondent color, and it is untapped if you control it, and then it taps for the color, and then it has an ability attached. So, any preference on which one we talk about first? Any fan
I like
favorites?
the green. Obviously, the green rare land is insane.
Sweet. So I'll read it out for anyone who doesn't know. It's called Castle Garenbrick. It comes in untapped if you control a forest. It taps for forest, and you pay 2 green and tap itself to add 6 green. And you can spend this mana only on creature spells or activate abilities of creatures. So it's Temple of the False God.
Temple of the False God, except it has less downside.
Yep.
Yay. So
Less
that means
downside.
when I'm stuck on 4 lands in Commander, then I can still tap it for a mana. Yeah. This card just instantly goes into Primeval Titan.
Yep.
The Amulet of Vigor deck.
Yeah.
It just means you can. It's just another way of turn 3 getting a Primeval Titan into play.
Yeah.
It's just kind of made that deck quite a lot better.
The thing about these lands is that a lot of people were disappointed with how weak the abilities were, but the fact of the matter is there's no opportunity cost. More often than not, they're going to come in untapped, and they're just free stuff. Like, people were disappointed the blue one only scries 2, but it's like it's no opportunity cost.
in the standard constructed, there is an opportunity cost, and the opportunity cost
Is deck building?
The opportunity cost is that you then can't really play the common land, and in some cases the common land is just better.
That's true.
So the common land has to come down late, and it has a land type.
And why
But
does
if you play
why
early-
does it have to come in late? You wanna
Because
read out the
otherwise
text?
it's just a basic that comes in tapped. It doesn't do anything if you play it early.
I just mean like reading out the text.
Okay, so it's all of them have when this land enters the battlefield, it does something, but only if it comes in untapped, and they come in untapped if you control 3 or more swamps, mountains, islands of that color.
Yeah.
So
And they do have the land type.
So you want so they have the land type, but you want to be playing it turn 4 or 5. The real land does not have a land type.
Yeah.
And that's the land that you can play early.
Yeah.
So they don't really synergize very well.
So, for example, if you're playing a multicolored deck and you played any of the rare lands before you played the I don't know what to call these. Did these have a name yet?
No.
Nope.
It's common.
Of the common land, it puts it back a whole turn to get that effect. So it's gonna be hard for a monocolored deck to build. Do you play 2/2? Do you play 4/1? Or do you just play 4 and 0? It depends on the deck you're building. I'm pretty
Depends on
sure.
what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the red one does sort of well. Actually, the
red rare or the red
two,
common?
The two of them,
Both.
they kind of work together.
And
sort of.
Cavalcade, they're both amazing.
They're both quite good.
Because Because the common
blue-
one makes a 1/1 when you have the appropriate amount of lands, and the other one gives all your creatures +1, which you do after your calculate trigger.
Mm.
But again, it trips up, you know, like
Yeah.
trying to get them all to work.
So the green common one is kind of bad. So that makes the rare green land better.
Mm.
But like an example of like black has both quite a good common land, but then its rare one is like a bit better.
Yeah,
for, like,
yeah. I mean, everyone was pretty excited when they saw the black one because that was the first one that was revealed.
I think
Draw a
the
card.
black and the green are the best ones.
And then everyone was
Right.
disappointed with the rest because it's like, where's my
Probably
card
so.
advantage? You
Yeah.
know,
Rare
why does
ones.
my blue one not draw cards? But yeah. Oh man, like honestly, there's gonna be a lot of games in the future where you're playing against control deck, and you pass and don't do anything, and they just activate their Castle Venturous Scry 2, and you're just gonna feel so awful because they're just gonna be fixing their drawers. They're gonna find their board wipes or whatever.
They're gonna counter what it.
Yeah.
They can hold up counter magic, and if they don't counter something, they
Yeah.
can scry to or
It's
do whatever.
Castle
they wanna
Venturous is.
do.
I'm gonna get sick of people activating that at the end step, but yeah.
It's not quite an as Cantor, but it's
No.
a decent enough replacement. I do really like the blue common land. It's Mystic Sanctuary. It comes in untapped if you control 3 other islands, and when it enters untapped, you can put an instant or sorcery on top of your library from your graveyard.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna definitely go into blue-white control and modern, because that means you can start looping cryptics.
And the
Uh,
fact that you can fetch for them too.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have the basic land types, so
Yeah.
you can crack your fetch lands and go and get them.
That makes them a lot better for both modern and
So-
also for commander.
So on turn
Yeah.
4, you cryptic them. Turn 5, you get your land back.
Play the land,
get
yeah,
your cryptic back on top
Yeah.
of your library, and then you can cryptic them again. And then once you've used that on turn 6, you can snapcast a cryptic.
God.
So that's a lot of good stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And also, when you snapcast a cryptic, you can use that cryptic to return Mystic Sanctuary to your hand. I think that's how does Cryptic Command let you target your own stuff?
Yeah.
I'd have to double. If
Target
sure it
permanent?
does, right? Target non-land permanent. Or
Oh, no, there you go.
Is it not land or
maybe not.
permanent?
I'll double check.
Okay,
that.
here you go.
Continue.
Yeah. So yeah, these lands they're pretty good, you know. But anyone else here disappointed that there wasn't a dual land cycle in Eldraine?
I mean, it makes sense. I think they made up for it. They made up for the disappointment by printing the rare semi-fetch land.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
improved evolving
right. The improved evolving wilds.
Or considerably worse normal fetch.
Prismatic Vista.
Yeah. Yeah, Prismatic Vista, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I was my bet was they were gonna print the other cycle of fast lands. I really thought they were gonna go for those, the really
Yeah,
expensive ones.
well,
So
I think
last
it's
time
still-
a dual land cycle wasn't in a set.
Oh
I
man,
don't think.
We still have quite good dual lands though.
The
yeah,
real-
shocks and scries.
The real downside is that scries are really slow. So
Yeah.
if there's like a lot of aggro in the format, you're not going to want them. And we're not going to get non-scry lands until after Theros.
Who here's been
There's
playing a lot of
almost
that
definitely
M20
scry
event on Arena though? Have you?
I played a little bit of it. Yeah.
Steph's
Um,
over here's been playing it a bunch.
Yeah.
In the
I
mana
bought
base,
a cat.
is it
I had to
alright?
play it.
Yeah.
The mana base.
You're playing
the mana
Team
base
or
is okay. I've been
Elementals?
playing Team Elementals, which
Yeah.
is 3 color. It runs all the shocks, and it runs a lot of temples, and then just some like 3 or 4 basics. And it'll, once we have the what's the actual land called? The fetch land, the Evolving Wilds. It'll
Fabled
probably
Passage.
it'll
Fabled
probably run
Passage.
that, so I'll have to run more basics. Fable Passage, but it's not as slow as you'd think it would be.
Mm.
That is a ramp deck though, so it doesn't really matter if things come
Yeah.
untapped. I don't think Esper Control could afford to run
No.
that many Scrylands.
Yeah.
But they do the job if you have to.
Mm.
I definitely miss checks.
Yeah, so kind of wanted to talk about mana bases later, but essentially what I'm trying to figure out is 3 color is playable, but is it too slow for aggro? But we could probably talk about that more later.
Alright, well then moving on from lands, let's talk about the legendary artifact cycle. They're all pretty awesome cards. I was reading the card design article, and they're all sort of built around sort of quests. You gotta do a thing to be able to cast them, you know? For example, the mono green one, you have to play something big before you play it, or in the mono black one, you have to fill your graveyard. So it fits with the whole questing theme of the set, so it's pretty cool. Anybody got any favorites?
Oh, my favourite is the Cauldron.
Oh, yep.
really?
It harkens me back to when I first started playing with Whip of Erebos.
Nice.
That card was a wee bit stronger than this one,
Also,
but I quite like this one. It's
yeah,
do you wanna
read out yeah, go ahead.
the old texts.
Yep.
It costs 10 mana plus 2 black.
Uncastable.
Cheapest chips.
Uncastable.
It costs 2 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard.
Okay.
So if you get to 5 creatures, it costs 2 mana. Whenever a creature you control dies, it goes on the bottom of its owner's library.
Mm-hmm.
You can pay 3, including 1 black, and tap it, pay 2 life, and return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield at sorcery speed. So basically what you're doing is, and of course the second line would obviously mean that you can't infinitely sacrifice something
Yeah.
every turn. And
It's fixed.
it's fixed, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fixed in many
It makes me
ways.
think a lot
Yeah.
of Whip of Erebos, which is a very strong deck. Back in Khans of Tarkir Theros Standard, it was more of a mid-range deck, but that was only until end of turn sort of thing. This is permanent, which makes it pretty solid.
Mm.
I could be keen to like try to sort of reanimate a shell
Yeah.
with this, plus maybe the bond card from.
Do we have enough self mill now that Stitcher Supply is rotated?
Such as supplies out. You do have Discovery, Dispersal.
Surveil.
You can mill yourself with Ashiok as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That's
Thought
right.
Erasure is still in the format.
Yeah.
You can't Thought Erasure yourself to discard your creatures, but that would be nice.
Yeah, there is a lot of mill in this set that I think they say target player, so they could self-target. To fill your
But there's
graveyard.
some really insane reanimation targets like
Yeah.
Drakuseth
Yep.
from the previous set.
Which was a deck for like a week or two in this format.
Yeah, so I think trying to go over the top with this, maybe you can like fill your graveyard enough by turn 3 to play it, and then on turn 4 get like something huge.
Yeah.
My concern with the Cauldron is it's so fixed. Like it does, like there's not only like you couldn't go infinite sacking it anyway because anything that dies, unless you were milling yourself as part of the combo, anything that dies goes to the bottom of your library. So once it's out, you can't get any more creatures in unless you've got another mill.
No, yeah. So that's
Plan.
how it's designed. That you gotta fill your graveyard and then boom. You
And
know,
then it,
this is
then
it.
it also taps, and you're
Reverse
paying
experimental
life.
frenzy.
So it feels like there's so many ways in which they've added downsides, and one of those downsides could have disappeared a little.
Yeah. Well, they were scared of what happened after Scarab God. You know, that destroyed
I
standard.
think the
Instead,
one
it was already
thing,
ruined.
Yeah.
the one thing that makes me down on this is Teferi Time Raveler.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can bounce the Cauldron and he can bounce the creature that you just reanimated.
Oh.
And assuming it's an uncastable creature, that's basically like removing.
Like Jack, you said, that a non-red deck.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a damper, but I'm hoping that Teferi is not going to be much of a force in the next meta. Fingers crossed.
I feel
No.
like it still will.
Yeah.
Teferi's too strong.
Teferi is just really
He is
good.
really strong.
I feel like a lot of these artifacts were designed for Brawl, including the Cauldron.
Brawl and EDH.
Yeah, it made me. I don't even think the Cauldron.
This
was
Cauldron
played
is.
EDH.
I think it's definitely too fixed for EDH.
Yeah, I think that's what they are. They're like
If it wasn't fixed
they're more fixed for.
and it costs a bit more mana, but yeah, it would definitely find a home in
because
EDH.
there's a sacrifice theme
Yeah.
in Brawl. So
Yeah. Well, what about you, Steph? Which artifact is your favorite?
I like the green one.
Yep, the green, the Great Henge.
Yeah. So it's this. It's 7 and 2 green. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So like Golta, but doesn't add up. And then you can add 2 green, you gain 2 life, which is really strong.
So busted.
And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield on your control, put a +1 counter on it and draw a card.
This card is ridiculous.
So like a lot of green in the set, they just threw everything at it and
Yep.
hoped that something was good. And I think in there there's some good things.
Yeah. I can definitely see this being in a Golgari shell for standard. Turn 1 Goose, turn 2 Rotting Regisaur, turn 3 Great Henge, tap it immediately and play Questing Beast, and attack with a 7/6 and a 4/4, or a 5/5 actually, because it's got a +1 counter on it. It's ridiculous. It's you draw the card to fuel Rotting Regisaur next turn, and it's just
It's a great anti-control card because obviously you're drawing
yeah.
loads of cards.
And it's also alright main board because it gains life against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that artifact from Kaladesh that was played. last standard, the Pokedex, the 3 mana one that you
yes,
pay.
Lifecrafter's Bestiary.
Lifecrafter's Bestiary. It feels like that,
Mm.
but slightly better because
You
of
know,
all the other
If
text
you're
on it.
playing against aggro, all you have to do is tap it and
Yeah.
you gain 2 life.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
don't even care about the mana if you just want to gain life every
Yeah.
turn.
So I think the other thing I think this quite synergizes really well with Incubation Druid, because even if you've got that stuck in hand, you play this, you play Incubation Druid, it comes in with a counter and then taps for 3 more mana.
Ooh, that's
and draws you a
spicy.
card, and you gain 2 life.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say
I-
that doesn't seem good because you can't
Just any adapt creature.
adapt
I mean,
it.
Yeah, any
but,
creature,
yeah.
but
Growth Chamber
specifically because
Guardian.
you're gonna want to play a lot of
Yeah.
ramp creatures anyway to get up to the big stuff.
And it-
Maybe like
putting
you've
this
got
in an
some
adapt
ramp
shell,
creatures.
that seems good. That seems really, really
Yeah, you
gross.
play a Growth Chamber Guardian, it gets a counter, you draw another Growth Chamber
Yeah.
Guardian and a random card. and you
Shattered
keep
Code's
doing
time
that
to
again.
shine.
Oh, maybe.
Oh man, I don't like that.
How all in can we go?
What I do hate about this artifact cycle is that they're mythics and they're all standard playable and they're gonna be so expensive.
They're standard playable, they're brawl playable, if
They're
it takes
EDH
off, and
playable.
they're EDH playable. Maybe
Yeah.
not anything else playable.
Well, it's standard prints, so I mean, you know,
I think besides
they're
Castle.
not gonna go. They're not gonna be. You know, you
Wasn't
can't-
Teferi $80? Like, come on, these
Right.
are going to
That's
get there. yeah. What about you, Luke? Any of these artifacts take your fancy?
Not particularly, to be honest. I haven't investigated these ones too much, but the blue one's kind of neat.
Yeah, the Magic Mirror one's pretty good. 6 blue, cost 1 less for each instant sorcery, so effectively costs 3 mana. Got no maximum hand size. And the beginning of your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on this, then draw a card for each knowledge counter on it. So the first turn it's out, draw a card. Next turn draw 2. Next turn draw 3. Could be
I
good.
can't see
Oh.
this living very long. But that's a good thing to say about any
Yeah.
artifact in EDH.
The one thing I'm not sure about with this entire cycle is that most of them just seem like win more. Like when you're behind, I'm not sure how much. they're gonna
Well, so Magic
But-
Mirror
Yeah.
is not a win more because you in the right deck you're just casting instant sorceries like removals, so like it's
Yeah,
gonna
but you
eventually
already
happen.
have to have
Cauldron,
how many
you gotta build around.
6 instant sorceries in your yard.
do.
Yeah,
And then it has to last a whole turn cycle
Yes.
to get there.
yeah.
So it does seem a little bit risky in that regard.
I'm definitely not looking forward to dying to Embicleave in limited or standard. I'm like, I don't need to block that 3/3. That's fine. And then it just flashes in, it equips to a creature for free, and hits me
That seems
for
really fun.
like 8.
Yeah, so
It even has trample actually. So
Plus
even if
one,
I do
plus
block
one.
it, so
Yeah.
oh my god, this thing is gonna be so gross. I think it's like a 1 or 2 off in the in the Cavalcade deck.
it's really interesting because obviously there's going to be a mono red deck.
Cavalcade,
And
yep.
there's going to be at least one mono red deck. There might be more than one, and it depends what sort of form the mono red deck takes because we lost the Wizards package out of Experiment Frenzy. And
Oh my God,
mono red has since veered towards Cavalcade, which doesn't really want this because if you put this
Well,
on a
what?
1/1, it only does 3 more damage. So it does a little bit, but it's not. You want to stick this on like a 4/4.
True.
So I don't like it, but the wideness of the Cavalcade deck makes it cheaper. But you want to put on something.
I think this is still a nice finisher.
I think maybe it might go
Like the
but
new
I don't know if
Cavalcade
it has
decks,
the room.
it's gonna play the new. It's gonna play the new Knight. Yeah, it's gonna play Gingerbread. It's gonna play all the other ones. But I think there's room for one Emberclade.
It
Your
might,
opponent has to
Spicy.
play around.
I'd
Yeah.
play Embercleave in a big red deck, like with
Would
the
you?
with the giant, you know, the crushing giant. That means that the one that has the Skullcrack adventure plus the
Oh my god, the
Yeah.
Skullcrack
4/3
adventure, yeah.
for 4/3 for 3 with
Yeah.
when it gets targeted
Okay.
deals 2.
Yeah.
You could
another
and you play the dwarf, the 4 mana dwarf,
Mm.
and you can play Embercleave.
It's
in
kind of
that
like a
deck.
mid-range aggro.
You might have to
Red.
think more about the curve, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think more in a mid-rangey red deck you could play Embercleave.
this also would go well in big Gruul aggro.
Oh my god, yeah.
It doesn't have to be mono red. I think
You're right,
people
yeah.
can afford to pay for
Yeah.
it.
I think there is a Gruul deck out there, but man, the mana base is hard though. With no scry, yeah. Just the shocks, maybe with the Evolving Wild upgrade.
Definitely with the Evolving Wild upgrade.
Although, we're going to talk a bit more about this later in our top 3. Gruul with the cast for free card. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Gruul has the
Yeah,
cast
that
free card
is,
which goes and find your fixing.
Yep.
It
It's
also-
gonna have you're gonna have the mana
It also has the bird.
Yeah, it's
if you
bird
really
as
need
well.
fixing.
and Paradise Druid, so maybe I'm silly. Maybe Gruul is just so good.
But what are you talking about, Luke, with the what these seem like win mores? That's what drew me towards the Cauldron, is because it's a payoff card. It's not a win more.
Yeah.
Whereas, yes, I think the Mirror is a win more card. I think it's not good enough for most most decks. Circle of Loyalty is also a bit win more because if you can cast it, you've probably got a couple creatures in play already, and you're probably doing all right.
Same with Embercleave. Like if you have Embercleave in hand and you've just died to a board wipe, it's like,
if you like,
oh
this
boy,
costs,
yeah.
Man, this
The
card's
thing
so good. I'm attacking with 4 creatures. Oh wait, that's already a good
Yeah,
thing.
that's how I felt when I saw the Great Henge. I'm like, who wants an 8 mana rock? and then you just read everything else. And you're like, well, I guess it pays for itself. But it pay something that starts at 9 mana does not feel like something that you're building up to win. It feels like the thing you're winning with.
Well, what I'm worried about with these is if, so say you play against like a Teferi deck or control deck, and you get board wipes, and then they play Teferi and bounce this, and it just sits in your hand.
Yeah, definitely highly possible. Yeah,
like in certain situations, they do seem like dead cards.
Yeah, because like we've seen it against in the Dino build currently, we've seen it in mono green that. What's the Golta? It does rot in your hand. Like there are games where you get board wipe, you get removal, and you're like, I just cannot cast this 12 mana card.
So I think the advantage of this set is that, particularly in mono green, but also a little bit in red, is that everything is big. Even more so, like when you were playing mono green, you were really focused on curve. So it's like you were playing 2 drops, and they were 2/3. You're playing Thorn Element. No, not Thorn Elemental. The thing that made it 1/1 when you targeted it.
Yeah, Thorn Lieutenant.
It was just a 2/3.
2/3.
It wasn't. It was adding to Golter, but it wasn't getting there. I think you're not playing many things less than like a 4 for 3 or a 4.
If we think about the mono green curve, we got a 2 mana 3/3. We got a 3 mana 4/4. We got a 4 mana 4/4. Effectively.
Yeah.
You know, it's these are all big beefy guys. You know.
Yeah.
And if you splash black, you've got Rotting Regisaur, things like that. So the chances are this might not rot in your hand as much because any top deck that's big you can slam and then play Great Henge again. What a weird name, Great Henge.
I also think
It was Hedge at first.
Yeah, it's based off it. You can see them in the art there. The
Stonehenge.
Yeah, Stonehenge. But it's a hinge. So yeah. So okay, moving on. Is there any other cycles worth discussing in terms of constructed?
There's the triple cost cycle.
Oh yeah, the monocolored
legendary.
ones.
So some of them are good.
Yeah.
So you've got the green one, the black one, and depending on what format you're playing, maybe the blue one. Probably more for commander. But anyway, you've got Yorvu, the Garenbrig is the green one. He's triple green. He enters the battlefield with 4+1 counters on him. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield on your control, put a +1 counter on Yorvu. Then, if that creature's power is greater than Yorvu's power, put another +1 counter on Yorvu. Which basically means he's going to come in as a 4/4, and by the time he attacks, he's almost definitely going to be a 5/5. Sometimes a 6/6. On turn 4, assuming you haven't ramped. Which I think is pretty strong. And is made a lot better by the fact that that Questing Beast exists.
Yeah.
So like other things exist in mono green to make it good.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that one?
Well, the only downside for this guy is he's very chump blockable.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has no evasion whatsoever. So, but I guess if you're playing a big deck, all your things have to be blocked, or they die very fast. So maybe that's an upside for that. He also kind of is also susceptible to Teferi a little bit with being unsummoned. He doesn't do anything when he enters, and then he loses any buff that you've created with him.
Yeah. The Questing Beast like itself would be a lot worse if it didn't have haste. Like the fact that it has haste and it's going to immediately start doing what it's meant to be doing.
Creatures in standard need to do something when they enter the battlefield. Otherwise,
or be super annoying if they have to go away.
Otherwise,
you just can't be big and beefy. Unless you're Rotting Regisaur.
Yeah. Unless they're like really beefy.
It's a 3 mana
and this guy does
6/6,
get beefy, but he does lose some of his beef when he gets unsummoned.
Yeah.
Kind of awkward.
A little bit, but yeah.
So the red one is Torbrin, Thane of Ridgefell. And it's 1 red, so 4 mana. If a red source you control will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that damage +2 instead.
So it's the last step of Flame of Keld.
Yeah, which
On a
kind of
thing.
can make it into mono red a little bit.
Could do, but 4 mana 2/4 that is a little bit of a win more. Is it gonna be enough?
kind of a 4/4, really.
So
It is a 4/4.
He's technically a 4/4.
It could be a win con in Cavalcade decks.
Could be like a 1 or 2 of, yeah.
Like, so it plays Chandra's Embercat as a win con, is something that
Chandra's
deals a
Embercat?
lot of damage. Okay,
You mean
not
Baby
that one.
Chandra?
No, I mean the flying thing.
Chandra's
One
Embercat.
Oh no, Chandra's Pyro
No.
Phoenix.
Chandra's other thing. The
Chandra's
other thing
Phoenix.
Chandra has. It
Yeah.
plays
Chandra's
that.
Embercat?
Chandra's Embercat.
Yeah,
The 2/2
oh.
Yeah,
attacks
that's
for
a
red
2/2.
mana.
Oh, it's gonna
Not
destroy
that
standard.
Cut that one. Yeah, it plays a 1/3 and it gets +2/+0 whenever a non-creature source deals damage to your opponent.
Yeah.
So if you have Cavalcade out and you attack with 3 creatures, including it, it becomes
Oh yeah.
like an
It-
11.
it
and
destroys
it's broken.
you,
And
absolutely.
you've already taken like
Yeah.
4 damage and you're going to take more.
And yeah, if you drop it and you attack with a couple things, Cavalcade does 3 damage
So-
per trigger.
So the downside of that one is you play it, you wait a turn, and someone kills it.
you don't
like
wait
that.
a turn though.
No, it doesn't have haste.
No, I know that, but like you're playing Cavalcade, right? So you've played a
You're,
couple 1/1s.
you're still attacking.
Let's say you have 2 1/1s and you have Cavalcade. You play that in attack. You've done 6 damage before damage is even resolved.
No, you've done 4 damage. Because it doesn't have haste. So it sits
No, it sits there, but the other 2 1/1s attack, and Cavalcade deals 3 damage, and Cavalcade deals 3
Yeah.
damage. Because
No.
it's 1
Basically,
plus
seven
2.
damage.
Yeah, with this.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm saying the downside of the flyer is that it sits there and gets killed. This comes in, it sits there.
Oh,
you attack with all
you mean the
things
flyer.
you've already,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So the flyer,
I've
the flyer
hated that
gets killed.
Phoenix for that reason,
This
yeah.
thing comes in and then does everything that would deal 1 damage, does the damage, and then they actually do combat damage, and it does damage again.
But the only
So
worry is
you can
is
go
that
from 3 creatures on board. They can go from how many, like 12 life down to
Yeah.
0
yeah.
if you play this.
But I'm just worried that it costs 4 mana, you know? Like, I'm just worried that 4 mana is going to be too big for Cavalcade.
I mean, it's a finisher. You don't play it unless
It is
you've already got a board.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like an overrun, but red.
It's a red
Yeah.
overrun, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
In fact, it triggers on Cavalcade triggers as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's so
Yeah.
gross.
Before
Yeah.
you've actually dealt combat
If they're
damage.
tapped out and they don't have any interaction, it's going to be over.
I really
You
like
can't catch
Skull.
up.
I want to build around it.
Yeah.
I do really want to try like an Is It build with this. With
Ooh,
like Niv
yeah.
Mizzet. And then every
Oh.
time you cast a spell, lightning bolt to the face.
Ooh, that's
But-
pretty good.
It might be
Yeah.
hard to pay off, but
Well, like if you've
it's worth a
got,
go.
if you have Niv Mizzet on the board and he's lived, you've got 6 mana already at the very least. So this is only 4 mana. Then you can opt twice,
I mean, I'm
and you've done
questioning,
6.
questioning the mana base of triple red, triple blue
Mm.
when you've only got shocks and temples.
Yeah, that's enough. You play Shocks, Temples, and Evolving Wilds.
That's
Whatever it's called.
That's incredibly slow
Fabled-
mana base.
Fa-
for-
Fabled Passage.
Fabled Passage. Sorry, that
And
doesn't sound like
from
a
then-
land.
And from then on, you've got Gain Life Lands.
Yeah.
When
Yep,
you
that's
get
definitely.
triggers, I've been running those in elementals.
Yeah.
They're a bit
Something about
painful.
the
But I
basics.
mean,
Bit
you
painful.
it's kind of necessary sometimes. You can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, people have been doing that these days. Yeah, throwing a couple life cannons.
I was playing some even
Yes.
during last stand.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's just because Grixis was so
So
stretched.
Yeah, so stretched.
Well, to be fair, they were also seeing play in Scapeshift, but that's more because of
Yeah,
Scape
that's because
Shift.
Scapeshift plays 4 Field of the Deads and 1 of everything else. So they kind of have to fit it in there. Somewhere.
So, should we move on
Um,
to our personal top 3s, or do you want to talk more about the other cycle?
I mean, the
Because-
other cycles one, there's a triple black one.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses a life.
Yeah.
Sorry, whenever it or another black creature enters the battlefield, it loses a life and you gain a life.
Mm.
Sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. Tap, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. So you can only do it once a turn.
Seems
But
very
it-
fair and balanced.
It's so it fills 2 roles.
Wow.
So there's already sort of a black white.
Aristocrats.
Aristocrats build
Yeah.
that this could go into. It would have to be splashing the white because of the black.
Yeah, triple
thing.
black. Yeah.
Well, and also it has to be a black creature for this to trigger. But this
Mm.
could push that forward, and also there's a mono black build that's been pretty good, particularly in like the M20 event.
Yeah, true.
It's
I
really
believe it's
aggro.
better in mono black than it does in aristocrats. The triple
I-
black seems really harsh on the mana.
Well, I mean, aristocrats would only be splashing the white creatures anyway. You'd be running things like Bontu
Mm.
and Cruel Celebrant, but the Cruel Celebrant would be a splash.
Mm.
I think you'd be fine because you'd be running the fetch lands, the Fabled Passage, the Shock lands.
Yeah.
Maybe you could afford like 2 temples,
Yeah,
or
you,
2
you,
light
yeah,
cannons,
you,
but
you could afford 2 temples. Yeah.
but I think if you're splashing the white, it's okay because Like
Yeah.
everything's gonna do kind of the same
But
thing
is the
anyway.
deck good if you're only splashing white as opposed to having white as your core? Is the question, I think.
I think black.
I mean, the deck's already bad.
Mono black's already.
The deck's already not tier 1. Aristocrats. And
The
Aristocrats
thing
is
is-
not. It's not.
The
It
thing
doesn't
is,
get
like,
results. Just play vampires instead.
You don't want to be playing really any planes in your deck.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
that's
how
the
are you
thing.
gonna? How's your mana? Yeah. How much
Yes.
white can you actually put in there without playing planes
Yeah.
if you want to play a triple black spell?
Yeah, it's got the same Chainwhirler problem.
Yeah,
where-
it's pretty. Yeah, but Chainwhirl also did. Chainwhirl did see minor play.
yeah, because
in
of
your
the
politics.
yeah, because it was a rogue. No, what did they name with the tribal
Warrior.
knight? Warrior. Yeah, because it was warrior tribal, that deck. It was slightly different. It got around because it was a warrior, which was a really strange list.
So the benefit of this one in the Aristocrats deck is it's a free sack outlet and it also draws a card.
Mm.
So there are other things that does that, but that's a possible fit in there. But it is much better than the mono black deck, which runs creatures that you can get back to your hand from your graveyard just for free,
Mm.
and runs things like Dread Presence, which also is mono black synergy, and is quite aggro and strong. Then there's Gadwick the Wizened. He's X blue blue blue. He's a
This
3/3 human wizard, legendary creature. When he enters the battlefield, draw X cards. Whenever you cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls.
EDH pass. It's
So
a
this
commander. That's it.
So this is a brawl card.
Yes.
So this is a brawl card. I don't think it's any other card.
Brawl or EDH.
Yeah, maybe EDH.
It's a fun commander.
Um,
Goes infinite. You can also just win with it as well. If you in mono blue decks in EDH, you can make infinite mana in so many ways, and then you just play Lab Man, and then you make infinite mana, and then you cast it and you win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
So-
it's very narrow in its thing. I don't think it's very fun, but it's cool. It's Windfall.
It
in the
has a
command
bit of
zone.
versatility to a draw spell, so you can have either a creature or a draw spell depending on how much money you've got and what you want to be doing.
Creature or a draw spell. It's both.
Well, yeah, okay, you can do both, but
Yeah.
like if you've got heaps of money and you want to draw cards, then
Yeah.
it draws you heaps of cards. If you just
Yeah.
want to play a 3/3 that taps things down because you're dying, it
Oh,
does
yeah.
that. It's not amazing.
No.
And then the white one is Linden, the Steadfast Queen, triple white, legendary creature, human noble, vigilance. Whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life.
Cool.
So that'll go in all those life.
I feel like we
gains
went
that are doing
downhill
so
there.
well
Soul
in
in
power
Sisters.
level.
Yeah.
Soul Sisters.
Time.
Yeah.
It's time. Ajani's pride mate's time to shine.
Oh boy, yeah.
They've been pushing life game. Life game synergy has been in like 4 sets in a row now.
You know,
Let's do
we laugh at
Still
that
not
card,
good.
but it's gonna be a 4 of in like some Pro Tour top 8 or
I
something.
think there's the 4 mana 4/2 from the set where if you gain life, you return it from your battle graveyard to your
the
hand.
Golgari one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that
That looks pretty
that's
good.
life gain.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The Golgari one seems good. It's the
But,
hybrid one, I'm pretty sure, right?
So I guess you wouldn't say that was in your top 3 picks from the set, right?
No. No.
No.
So that's that cycle.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
then,
think
True.
it's all the cycles that
Yeah.
are important. There's also double cross creature cycles. There's
that was
hybrid mana
supposed to be a
cycles
really
for
good
draft.
segue, but
yeah. I saw you trying to do that, James. He was like, "You wouldn't put that in your top 3." Well, James, what would you put in your top 3? Let's
Wow.
hear.
I didn't catch this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, James, you start us
Get
off.
there at
What's
some point.
what's your top 3? Give us
well,
what
I
you're
wanted
excited
to
for.
I wanted to go for some more fun, or
Cool.
not fun, but
Start us off
a
in the
bit
jank
more
zone.
off the wall. Yeah, I'm gonna try to become known as the jank guy.
Oh,
on the
okay.
channel. I mean, I've produced one.
Have you
jank
given up on the spike
or
line?
two. Spike life's, that's for tournaments.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
So all my cards are white.
Okay.
So that's not
The
an indication
jankiest
of power
color.
level.
Yep.
But alright, so the first one I reckon has the most power level here is Realm Cloaked Giant. It's an adventure card, so on the adventure side it's a 3 white for destroy all non-giant creatures. How many giants going to be in standard, right? There's going to be like none apart from this guy.
Oh, hey, Icarus. With the monster set coming up in 2 sets where you
Oh,
build
yeah,
your own
there's probably
monsters,
gonna
there
be-
might be some giants in
Probably
there.
going to be giants in
Yeah.
there.
There's Beanstalk Giant, a
Beanstalk
staple of
Giant.
mono green.
The 3 mana 7/7.
Yeah.
Better than Hearthstone.
3 mana 7/7.
Yeah, you laugh at that faceless menace or faceless.
That's how you turn
Yeah.
that legendary into a 6/6 on turn 4. Right?
Oh god, yeah.
Play the 3 mana
Yep.
7/7.
That card's so gross.
So the creature side of it is a 7 mana 7/7 vigilance.
Big boy.
So what I see the play pattern with this card is you play it in blue-white control, in addition to time wipe, where you can cast your board wipe, and then maybe a couple of turns down the line you have a Teferi in play, you cast your giant, and then you can return it to your hand with Teferi, draw a card, and now you've got more board wipes going on. So you're never going to run out of board wipes with this deck. You can also time wipe, return your giant to your hand, and then have another 5 mana Wrath in your hand coming up. So I reckon blue white could.
I hope
could
you
have
have
some
a
nice
handful of
power.
5 board wipes and your opponent's just bolting you. You're like, come on, play a creature. No, don't deal 4 damage to my face.
I think this is the only way that blue white can beat Field of the Dead decks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and yeah, constantly recurring.
Because they're constantly making zombies, and you have to deal with them.
Does the new Takatli on a guard doesn't hit Field of the Dead, right?
It doesn't. No.
It's other creatures.
It just kind of slows them down. I'll talk about that card.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's in your
second.
top 3. Yeah. Yeah, no,
that's
I
my
think
first
that's
one.
definitely gonna see some play. It's like Fumigate, you know. It's gonna be here. But why is Time Wide not seeing as much play these days? What's the reasons for
5
that?
mana.
Well, Kai's Wrath is in right now,
Right.
and Kai's Wrath is probably not going to be
Because
as
black white
played
control is not gonna be viable.
because the mana base is not going to support
Esper.
white,
Esper.
black,
Yeah.
and also double blue,
Right.
all that other random stuff that they
And no
want
one
to
wants
cast.
to play white black control.
You
Yeah.
could play white black control, but
But
it's there, but I don't think it's as powerful.
So do you think this card's gonna be playing for about 1 season before we get our new dual lands, and then Esper's gonna come back with Kai's Wrath?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a sweet card though. You know, I'm definitely gonna die to that 7/7 beating me one day.
Like it's really amazing that this card is removal and a threat at the same time.
Strong
It's a good,
removal.
like a quick.
Look up. Is it a rare?
Clock. It is a mythic rare.
It's a mythic. Okay, I don't have to worry about that in a draft.
No. Alright, so my second card that I want to talk about is Acclaimed Contender. I think this is the card that's going to make a Knight tribal deck actually good.
So what's it do?
It's a 3 mana 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, if you control another Knight, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you can pick a Knight, an artifact, a Knight, an equipment, an aura, or a legendary artifact.
Yeah.
So obviously, you use the legendary artifact means you can find the Knight payoff mythic rare that cares about Knights.
Oh,
but I don't
man.
think you play that card.
Yeah.
It's like this is basically the 5 mana vampire, 4/4 vampire.
Yeah.
This is basically that, but for Knights. And
It's like that green guy as well, right? When you into the battlefield, look at the top cards and put something with 2 power less put in your hand. It's like those kind of cards.
Yeah,
they're good.
Militia Bugler, or for goblins, you've got
the 4 mana one.
Leader.
Yeah.
I died so hard with that last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
These effects are strong. These effects are very good.
Yeah.
So
I think that
it's a 4 mana, no 3 mana.
3 mana 3/3.
That's good. Yeah, that's on
It's
rate.
a good stat line. It's going to draw you a card pretty much most of the time if you're playing.
No other abilities, no first strike, no
No,
nothing.
nothing else
It's
like
just
that.
Yeah. But come on,
But
it's
I mean, you've
it's
got
free for cards.
yeah, and it'll go along with all the other good white knights. You've got the 2/1 when it dies, you get to put a counter on something.
Yeah.
You've got the Lord, all that other good stuff. Like I think there's something there. I'm not quite sure what build you have, but knights, it's gonna.
Do you see knights in standard playing some equipments?
I really don't think so.
No.
I don't really know. Equipments haven't been playable for since like Mirrodin, and then they kind of chickened out on equipment since then.
They printed a lot of Nahiri was an equipment payoff. They've printed a fair amount of equipment payoffs on this, including Outland. They haven't printed a lot of good equipments. Is the issue?
Because they're scared. You know, it's a lot of recurrent value, and they just printed the Red Knight that makes equipment cost 3 less, which is going to be good in modern. But will it be good in standard because of the equipment ability? Probably not.
And they just upgraded Stoneforge Mystic.
So let's move on to your third card.
Third card is Hushbringer.
You mean beautiful, luscious lips?
Lips.
Lips the card.
Lips the card. Yep, it is a 2 mana 1/2 flying lifelink, and creatures entering the battlefield and dying do not cause abilities to trigger. This is pretty much like Tocatli on a guard from current standard, but
stops aftermath.
It's got way better abilities.
Yeah.
Tocatli on a guard was a 1/3, 1 and a white. Creatures in the battlefield don't trigger.
Yeah.
Has lost 1 point of toughness, gained flying, lifelink, and death metal stifle.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep, and for a long time I've been thinking that Boris Feather's probably still playable in Standard, but it was just kind of losing out on a few too many creatures. I think this card is worth playing in that deck. Sometimes you would just main deck to Honor Guard in that deck, and this card is better.
Yeah.
So why not just play it there? And you're just endlessly recurring, like +1/+1 counters, good for battle or whatever on it. It's going to get huge. It's going to gain you lots of life.
Oh my god, yeah, the life gain.
I think that's really what I wanted.
It's 100% going to see sideboard play, and it's it will see some
like
mainboard play because it's just so good on rate.
Okay, so it doesn't stop Field of the Dead.
No.
But it does stop all the ramp that they have, like
It
the
stops-
elemental.
Yeah.
Risen Reef,
Golos,
Golos.
And the 0/3 when
and
it's not on the top deck.
and the Cavalier of Thorns.
Yeah.
Is another card that they use
Yeah.
in those decks. So I think it's going to be super relevant.
It silences elementals a bit as
Oh
well.
yeah, elementals is shit scared of this.
Yeah, it's like
Along with the fact that they printed no elementals in the set, this could really kill elementals.
yeah, it's like
Like
Omnath.
Omnath's their main removal spell and just doesn't kill us. So I don't know what how much death triggers are there in this.
Just
format.
aftermath, really.
Mostly like aristocrats like Judith and
So they
stuff
kind
like
of were pushing, like you can see why they printed this because they were pushing for death rattle triggers in previous sets, like Teysa Carl doubled them and stuff like that. They printed a lot of them
Death Harmonicon
during like the guilds lot, but not many of them have made it big. All the Cavaliers have death triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yes.
it's the most relevant
So it
ones.
does stop the Cavaliers and the God Eternals.
It's
Yes.
all.
I think it's kind of a preventative measure as well. Like if
For
it's
the
in the
futures.
format,
Yeah.
it means these cards
'Cause
can't break it.
the
so we
next
can
set-
just print
The
lots
next
of stuff
set
with
is going to
dice
be Theros Beyond Death.
breaks.
That's going to just be,
Probably.
there's going to be a lot of graveyard stuff, death effects or something probably in that set. So it's definitely for the cards we have now and definitely for the cards coming up. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It feels a little bit too strong. The only benefit is it dies to shock.
Yeah, that's why it's
Just-
balanced. Because Mono Red
I
will
mean,
come
like-
along and be like, we'll shock
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got lifelink mail, so you definitely have to shock
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's getting life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but even if you just swing in with a 2/2 creature.
Wait,
and
what's the
block it.
power and toughness?
it's a 1/2.
It's a 1/2. Oh, I'd laugh if it was a 2/1 because it doesn't die to Chain Whirler. The Chain Whirler comes down and it can't activate.
But
If it was, oh no, yeah. But like if it was in the same set, if it was printed earlier in
At least
M20 or something.
It can at least block cavalcade dudes
Yeah.
quite well. So there's that.
Yeah.
It's really reminiscent of when Ravenous Chupacabra was taking over the format, and then everyone started playing Tokyo Guard to sort of
To stop
stifle
the Explorer
Golgari a
package,
little
yeah.
bit. And it was brutal. Like there's nothing you can do about it if
Yeah.
you're that sort of deck, which seems bad for some of the decks
Oh,
that are out there.
yeah. It's gonna be good. If you're playing white, you're definitely looking for a couple copies of those
Yeah.
next pre-release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be mainboard and sideboard, I imagine.
Yeah. Alright, well, thank you, James. We should just move down the line, and I'll talk about my top 3. We'll keep on going.
Yep.
My top 3 is initially there were 3 green cards, but I remembered that there was one other card that I want to talk about. And I'll talk about that first. It was the red 4-mana enchantment. I don't have it on here, but could you find it for me?
Red 4-mana enchantment that does what?
It
so-
lets you cast stuff for free.
Um,
I just want to know its name.
Found it.
Yeah, what's his name?
It's called Fires of Invention.
Yep.
And you want to know what it does?
Yeah, just read it out for people listening. If they don't know what it does.
So it's an enchantment, 3 in a red. You can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control without paying their mana costs.
Now, for this card, there's not a lot of buzz around it, but I think this card is broken. And I think this card is going to see a lot of play in a specific, like, rule or Izzet deck, I believe. I think it's going to be in an Izzet deck where you draw cards and play big things, or in a Gruul deck where you just play big fatties over and over again with, like, Chandra to draw cards or something. Because this card, you play it, and then you can immediately play 4-mana Chandra to set that up. And, like, if you play in the lower in the curve, you play, like, Lava Coils and the new 3 damage Exile card to just control the board, drop this, drop that, and then you're just kind of going off for the rest of the game. So, I expect that to be, like, a tier 1.5 deck at the very least. I'm going to be surprised if it isn't. And if it isn't, then I'm going to build it. And I'm going to do my best with it. Yeah.
Well, it's basically the red wilderness reclamation,
It
right?
is the red wilderness reclamation, yeah. And like the downside is that you can only cast stuff as sorcery, but with Teferi in the format, it's not even a downside because Teferi already makes you do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's fine. And if you're the aggressor, playing a sorcery speed just isn't a problem. You know, you're the one who's throwing down the threats that they have to answer.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna let you play a lot of fun stuff.
Lets you double spell really fast. Like
Oh
turn
my
four.
god.
It does
Yeah.
also let you do activated abilities at instant speed. So I don't know if there's
Yeah.
many of those.
Yeah.
But because the advantage is you play 2 spells and then you have mana left over for activated
The
abilities.
most optimized deck will make the most out of it. Maybe with adapt cards. Adapt cards again, you know. Adapt's time to shine. So the next card on my list is Once Upon a Time, which is 1 green, and if it's the first spell you've cast this game, you get to cast it for free. It's an instant as well, and you look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you may reveal a creature or a land card, and put them into your hand. This is going to be in every green deck until rotation, I think.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Just everywhere.
just everywhere. Like you
it's
can,
It's playable for the rest of time.
yeah, you shave 2 lands, and like 2 other cards, and you just put 4 of these in. You just can't.
I just want to play it in an aggressive brand deck. With like
Yeah.
5 aggressive brands. in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
you just play it in a non-green deck, and
Yeah.
it's just like mulligan makes your mulligans look at 11 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combo enabler. It finds your lands early game. It finds your creatures late game.
Yeah.
It's free early game.
Yeah.
Um,
At the very least, they could have made it
It's
a
2 mana.
sorcery.
yeah,
To
it's
make it
instant
fair,
speed.
but
It
it's
goes in
instant.
the flash deck.
Like
The thing is, even if you're not casting it for free, it's
Yeah.
still only 2 mana.
it's an
so-
anticipate, you know. Well, it's better than anticipate, you know. It's just a good rate, you know. It could have been 3 mana to balance it, but no, they've pushed this card so much, and it's just gonna see play
Some
forever.
decks have already played Bond of Flourishing, which
Yeah.
kind of costs the same,
Mm.
except it gains you 3 life.
Yeah.
And
the
but this one's
sorcery
instant
speed,
speed.
right?
And you can
Yeah.
just casually cast it for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rules question: if you're going second, does your opponent have an upkeep where you can cast this before they play their first land?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
the player only skips their draw step on turn 1.
Yeah.
They don't skip their upkeep.
Right, yeah, because it's slightly irrelevant if Spell Pierce was ever to be reprinted, you know, or other formats where 1
Yeah.
mana interaction exists. Because like if you know your opponent's doing that, maybe game 2 or game 3, you want to get it in there before, because it would suck if they play Island and pass. You go, okay, end step. Once upon a time, and they Spell Pierce you. It was just it's not great. So it's good to know that there is a window before they get to play their land. However, if you don't know who you're going up against, you obviously don't want to do that because you want to have all the information, you know? You maybe want to find a creature that interacts with their board better or a specific land or whatever.
Interesting thing.
Broken card.
Interesting thing to know about this card. Rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That For ages, Wizards started printing random order
Yeah.
because random order is slightly annoying for paper magic because in competitive it's like a bit iffy if you're like shuffling 2 cards and you have to split it. It's not really random. Putting in any order. Oh no, it is random order.
Yeah.
Ignore that. Cut
Okay.
it out.
Ignore.
No, but
No,
you
it's
know,
not
We never
It
cut
was any
anything.
order.
you do bring up a good point though, because this is just creature and land, but with adventures, you can get Murderous Rider with this.
Yeah.
So you can get sorceries and instants with it as long as they're adventure cards. So in a Golgari Shell again, this can grab Murderous Rider when you need it. Like I don't know, this card's so busted. And the last card on my list was just Gilded Goose. Everyone was so excited for Llanowar Elves to rotate. They thought, yay, finally a standard without a 1 mana dork. And they printed Gilded Goose again. And who knows if it's going to be as good as Llanowar Elves.
We'll see.
You will see.
It
It needs.
depends how good food is.
Yeah, it can make its own food, so it's kind of like a very bad mana vault. When you have to pay into it
It's
to
the
ramp a
worst
little
mana
bit
vault.
later. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. But I think that there's gonna be a lot of decks out there that make the most of the Guild Goose. So that's my top 3.
My top 3, we've talked about one of them already. So I had Tobran, Throne of the Redfall, which was the 4 mana, triple red.
Yeah.
Add 2 damage to whatever.
Flame a card and a creature.
Yeah, pretty much. My second one was Merchant of the Veil, and this has Haggle on it. So Haggle is the instant.
What a card! I'm gonna cast Haggle.
Yeah, very interesting name. But so it's a 1 red instant. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So it's kind of a comparison to Faithless Looting, except super bad.
Unless you're Dredge.
Yeah, it's kind of good for a dredge deck. I'm excited to try it with like an Is It Phoenix build on standard. Hopefully, like discarding a Phoenix, we'll see how the deck actually does. But it
There's
makes
that
it
new
impossible.
instant speed tormenting voice. You know,
Mm.
you could put the deck together,
Yeah, so there's enough to maybe get some of the pieces
and
together.
Opt is reprinted as well. So
Mm.
we'll see.
And just in modern, at least it's something that's 1 mana.
Yeah.
It's red.
Yep.
So some relative
We
replacement.
play
even though it's,
2
like,
neonates and
strictly
2 of
down.
that maybe.
Mm.
Who knows?
Well, you know, that card's just going straight into Modern Dredge.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the creature is actually not too bad either, like the activated ability.
Yeah.
Just keep dredging as much as you want, paying 3 mana each time.
So
Isn't
the creature,
there a lot of turns in Dredge where like you do the whole Dredge stuff, you get stuff back, but you don't actually have much to do with your mana?
Yeah, well, yeah. Usually you don't. You have
Yeah,
that free
so
Because
then-
to
Dredger
play.
doesn't cast anything, right?
Yeah.
It puts
Dredge
everything in for free.
They don't cast things
Yeah.
after like turn 3.
So then you can activate the guy and get more Dredge
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
So the creature is a 2 mana red, and you can pay 2 mana in red, discard a card, and then draw a card.
Yeah.
On a 2/3 body.
It's not a tap ability. It
Yeah.
just do as much as you want.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And discard your dredge
So
things.
immediately, it's good. Yeah, it's gonna be pure gas.
I find this so interesting, especially because it comes right after Faithless Looting. Everyone's like, because like Faithless Looting's a bit strong, and then this is fixed in many ways, except it's obviously it's better for Dredge. They've you only discard, so you discard first, then you only draw 1. It's instant speed, which I feel like is a real advantage, and they obviously had to put some sort of card advantage on it because like discard draw and you pay and you use a card to do it as severe card disadvantage.
Mm.
So they stuck a creature on the back of it, which is worse for like Phoenix decks and pretty much every deck. It's worse for worse than flashback. You want flashback rather than this. So it feels like they've really tried to fix Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder how long they were planning on banning Faithless Looting for.
Yeah,
Because
it
they
does-
couldn't print this if Faithless Looting
Yeah,
was
it
still
does make you
around.
wonder because of the banning. Maybe the playtest team were playing with this and that, and they just realized, oh no, Dredge is broken. We gotta do the ban first and hit the other decks as well while you're at it.
The fact this is instant's really interesting.
Yeah.
So for some decks, it's quite an advantage
Mm.
being able to do it. Like, so play my mountain, see what you're doing, then I'll discard and draw.
Yeah.
But for a Phoenix deck, it actually just seems like a straight. Like the instant doesn't really matter for much. So
Yeah.
It
seeing
might-
one less card can be quite relevant.
It might push Phoenix more towards like an instant speed controlling deck though.
Mm.
So it might
But then you don't
make
activate
Phoenix
your
able to run.
Phoenixes. So
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and I mean then you can't flash it back late game to get your Phoenixes because it's a creature.
we'll see if it's good enough to make. Is it Phoenix in standard decent? So.
And also it's interesting because it's a spell, but it doesn't pump Crackling Drake even in Excel because it's on a creature.
Yeah.
The creature is the card type, so it just sucks for Crackling Drake Phoenix in both standard and modern.
Yeah.
The fact that it's instant is making me like really want to do this with Dredge because you can counter a surgical extraction with this.
Ooh.
So
Oh.
they try to surgical one of your dredges and you
Oh.
instant
Dredge it
speed
in.
dredge it away and it spell fizzles. Usually when they're surgicling a dredger though, it's like not. It's like a desperation
Yeah.
thing. Like they would really want to hit your payoffs rather than dredges. But you know, it's a thing. Like if they want to turn 2,
It would happen in the
turn
history
2,
of Magic.
turn 2, and you have your only one dredge card in the yard, and they're like, "Oh, I can surgical that," and they'll have no gas, and then you just
Yeah, I definitely
Cycle.
scoozed away dredge cards that you could save
Yeah.
with this.
yeah, I can save dredges with that.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like I think that's where it's probably.
When
gonna
you
be
play
played
Neonate,
most.
it's sack, discard a card, and then when the ability resolves, you draw. So
Yeah.
you do that. So in response to the ability resolving, you can surgical, right? But this one, the payment is only red, and then when it's resolving, you discard the draw, right?
Yeah, you may
So you
discard a
can't-
card if
So
you
you
may
can't
draw a card.
interrupt with surgical.
Nope.
Yeah, there's a bit of a
Yeah.
buff.
Yeah.
Surgical's broken because it's
Surgical
Phyrexian.
got some, a little bit less.
Pay some respect to surgical. It's the only thing that saved us from Hogak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, saying it saved us from
Okay.
Hogak is.
Okay,
Yeah.
it stopped Hogak from like Hogak would
I
have been
think-
worse
I
without
think-
surgical.
I think you should be thanking Leyline of the Void.
Yeah.
Not everyone can play Leyland.
Mm.
So some people have to play surgicals.
All right. So Luke, what's your third card on your list?
So the third one is Drown in the Lock. So it's
Oh, no.
1 blue, 1 black. So it's counter target spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of cards in an opponent's graveyard.
Less than or
or
equal.
less than.
Yeah, less than or equal to. And then you can also destroy target creature with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of cards in that
So-
opponent's graveyard.
Good in modern,
So-
fantastic in mill.
Yeah, I
Bad
really
against Tron.
Yeah, well, you say it's bad against Tron, but if you are like a mill deck
Yes.
playing Tron, like you can counter Ulamog,
Yeah.
so it's somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
Could you counter a turn? Could you ever counter a turn 3 Karn with Mill with this card?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can blink the unthinkable.
Glimpse the Unthinkable turn 2.
Yeah.
Turn 3,
Get it ready.
if you're on the play.
Yeah, if you're on the play. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only way.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Or actually, no. Turn 2, you have to mind break trap them.
Yes.
Is that mind break trap?
Yep.
Is that the right one?
Yeah.
This is also
But
modern.
the Tron though, they don't play Fitches.
No, they play Expedition Mat. And
Oh, true.
And,
Okay.
And what's it called? Sylvan Scrying.
Is it? What's the text on Mind Break Trap? If they've
If they've searched their library,
if they've
costs
searched
0.
library. Oh,
And
okay,
it's
yeah.
mil 13.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Well,
Oh,
I could
so-
also see just playing this in like a blue-black control deck in modern.
Yes. 100%.
Because this is modern, like, there's going to be a lot of cards in the graveyards anyway.
Yeah.
So,
They fetch you. Turn 1 discard spells. Like the land. As long as it's got 3 cards, you can counterspell anything. And then you just go up.
I
You
even
just
like
match it.
this is standard because
Oh,
the
yeah.
flexibility of destroying something later. Like you just hold on to it. In the
It's
late
like a
game when
12
they've got,
in some
when you
standard
kill
decks, I
their
think.
other stuff. Well,
Yeah.
because in
Great
control
for
you're
late game.
definitely running board wipes.
Yeah.
Anyway, like if there's not creatures to board wipe, you're not using this anyway.
Yeah.
So you ritual sit.
Yeah.
Or there's a new black one for creatures, and then next thing you know you can kill their four.
Oh
their
yeah,
four drop.
the tribal one.
Yeah,
That's
the
gonna
tribal
see
one.
play as well.
If knights
In
are a thing, it
Golgari
definitely
modern
will.
decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw you humans. Screw you spirits. Oh man.
Because blue black is strong, and the reason why blue black hasn't existed is because why would you play blue black when you can play Esper?
Yeah.
And now you can't, so it's going to split into blue white, and there'll be some blue black mid rangey control thing with Thought Erasures and all the cards from guilds.
Yeah.
I'm
That
quite
really
glad it's
fight.
splitting up Esper, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I actually think this card is going to make a mid-range modern deck with blue in it playable. Because for a while people have been trying to play Sultai,
Yeah.
and it's just always been a flop. And I think this card is kind of what they've been missing.
Yeah.
A cheap counter / kill spell.
It practically is just counterspell in modern now. You know. Yeah.
Well, it can do both too. The fact.
The fact that you can do
Yeah.
both. Yeah. If you're falling behind the early game and it misses the counterspell later on, yeah, it'll be its kill spell. You know.
Well, if you
It's-
crack 2 fetches, you can counter their 2 up. Well, if your opponent cracks 2
which
fetches,
they would in modern,
Yeah.
unless they're playing monocolor or Tron.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Death Shadow is guaranteed to be a target for that, right?
Yes.
Because they've always got one fetch or
Yeah.
something in the yard.
So yeah, it's gonna start as a 4 of I think with mixed people, and then maybe they'll peel it back to main 2 sideboard or just whatever. We'll see where it goes.
I'm main decking the Hell Spellborn as we speak.
Yes. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Luke. Steph, what's in your top 3?
So my top 3 is we'll start with the spiky good one, Questing Beast.
Yeah.
No one's mentioned yet.
I dare you to read the card without seeing it.
We'll be here for a while.
Yeah.
So Questing Beast, 2 in 2 colours, green. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. We'll start with that. That's already
Wait,
it's a 4/4.
Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste.
Yeah.
It has Death Touch.
Why not?
What? It has Death Touch? I didn't even know that. I thought it has Vigilance Haste. Why does it have Death Touch?
What's the
I
fact?
felt like
we'll just
they
give it
thought
extra
it
so
was
keywords.
big.
strong,
Chuck the
so
ball.
they,
Oh
like,
my god.
At least it's not trample.
You can't even block it with a
Yeah.
big thing. Oh my god. Okay, keep going.
Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, 4/4. Already good.
Oh.
Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Excellent. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So good by fogs. Fuck you, protection.
Yeah.
Um,
The fact that it interacts with protection is really important, and people are going to trip up on that in the next 2
yeah,
months.
I can see a lot of feathers dying to this.
Oh, sorry, I just hit feather.
And then there's more. Whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. So
Planeswalkers.
yeah, so this
You no longer have to decide which to attack. You just go
Take the
face.
player.
yeah. So the reason why I
Yeah.
like this is because my biggest complaint of planeswalkers is that Wizards' philosophy is now they all come down big. So there's not like a single planeswalker I don't think that comes down and
Except for
ticks
the
up to
tick-down ones.
less than 4.
Except for the tick down ones.
Yeah, except for the uncommons
Yeah.
and but all the rare ones tick
Come on.
up, all the mythics tick up.
They've nerfed them and they made them fat, yeah?
Well, they give them 5 loyalty anyway most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so,
But
so
they've
most,
nerfed their abilities, but they just make 1, 2,
so
2
most
or
things
something,
come
but
down
they're
and
fat.
tick up
yeah.
to 4. Almost everything ticks up to at least 5.
Yeah.
Liliana ticks up to 7.
Yeah.
I think
Because
Garrick's
Keft, it's a 4-5, right?
Garrick starts at 6, right?
No.
And then he makes blockers, and then
Mm.
those blockers buff him up again.
Yeah.
Everything expensive is big.
But like it's ridiculous because like my opponent plays like a Kefnet, and then I play a Chandra, and it takes up to 5, and I feel safe. That's not how that should work. A Kefnet should be able to punch Chandra, no matter what. But the fact,
Chandra Acolyte of Flame is a rare.
Yeah.
She comes down at 4.
Yeah.
She can make elementals for 0, or then she can for 0 put a loyalty counter on herself. So she's
If you
5.
roll the dice
3 mana,
correctly.
5 mana planeswalker.
If you change the dice correctly.
So that means for gameplay, what happens is if you don't have planeswalker removal,
Okay.
if you don't have planeswalker removal and you've got creatures,
Yeah.
then you have to send your creatures at the planeswalker.
Massive
Otherwise, they're
tempo
gonna
loss.
get. Otherwise they're gonna get advantage.
Yeah.
They might have blockers. They take some of your smaller creatures out with it. You're not hitting them in the face because you're too busy taking their planeswalkers. They play another planeswalker that you then have to kill with those creatures. It's really hard for especially like green to do it because green doesn't destroy planeswalkers anymore. Wizards have stopped doing that. They can only fight and attack.
Yeah.
So this is a real nice way to still be hitting face and not lose tempo, and also take out planeswalkers. And it is also really good against Teferi because it comes down the turn. So on the if you're ramping or if you're on the draw on the play, it comes down the turn after Teferi. It hits them for 4 on the 4 face and also hits Teferi.
Destroys it.
Before Teferi can bounce it. Because of the haste.
But bouncing doesn't even matter because it's a creature with haste, you know.
Yeah, that's why the haste is good because Teferi just bounces everything.
God. If it was a 4-mana 4/4 with Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, it would see play.
The reason why you can't attack Teferi is because it bounces something or it puts itself up to more loyalty than you can kill it with because your things are so tiny. Like you can either play one big thing or 2 small things that can't kill it. Yeah. So this is a nice counter for Teferi, and I really like it for that reason because I hate Teferi. So my second one is ironically a planeswalker.
Oh come on, Steph!
I wanted to talk about Oko just because.
Which is now going to die to Questing Beast.
Yeah. I think Oko's a weird one. I think he's either gonna be really good or he's just gonna be a bulk rare. He's got a lot of jank playability, and I don't know if this jank is actually gonna be good. So he does a lot of things. He can do a lot of things with by turning things into 3/3s. So he can either be removal for your opponents late game, or he can turn your own things into 3/3s, and if it's things like Hydroid Crisis, if it's anything with counters on, they'll just get bigger. So Hydroid Crisis,
Nissa lands,
and Dreadhorde
Horde
Invasion zombie tokens.
Yeah.
If you play Dreadhorde Invasion and then you play Oko, you get a 4/4 every turn. It's a plus. So Oko is
2
one.
pluses.
Yeah, so Oko is 1 green blue, +2 create a food token, +1 target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. And for -5, he can exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. So you take something small of your opponent's, probably in exchange for a food token that he is made.
I'm pretty underwhelmed by that ultimate, but that's how I feel now. I'm sure that's going to be actually really gross.
I don't think the ultimate is his point.
No, but
I
it's
think
a benefit.
The fact
Like,
that he's got 2 tick up means that he has
let's
to
say
have
you're
a
going
little
up
bit of
against
a worse
mono green
ultimate.
though, you know, and they play the triple green guy, and now it's like a 9/9 for some reason. You're like, I'm gonna give you this food token. I'm gonna take your 9/9.
Yeah.
Like it can happen totally, and there's some strong 3-mana stuff out there. Like, is the thief to the 2/2 that hits face, and that's the one that's
Well,
really
notably
stuff like
it
that.
takes Crisis.
Takes Crisis, yeah.
It takes things like Risen Reef,
Yes.
which is just card advantage.
yeah.
It takes
Can take lands.
it can take it can't artifact or creature.
Well, I mean a creature land.
Oh, creature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
yeah,
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 Nissa
creature
land.
I will take that. Thank you very much. It'll be untapped as well, ready to block as vigilance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah.
I feel like if food is actually useful, this card will be really good because you can just make food tokens for free.
Yeah.
But if food
It's
isn't-
gonna start off as a Simic deck, but as we get more lands, it's probably expand to like it'll pick
Another
some
thing is
more
it
colours.
works with Gilded Goose, and it could also work in a Sultai deck that runs off food tokens, and where the -5 is just incidental.
Yeah.
And you're just taking whatever you can.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it needs the -5 to be good, because I think it's just turning.
Hold on. It says artifact, right?
No, exchange control of target artifact creature you control with target creature and opponent.
Oh,
controls.
okay. Damn it. I thought you could use Wishing Well, give it to them, and then take it back. Yoink. Wishing Well. That's another card that's gonna be broken though. Yeah.
Wish Claw.
Oh yeah, Wish Claw has one. Sorry, not Wishing Well. Sorry, Wish Claw
Yeah,
has one.
the black one and a black for an artifact. You
Yeah.
tap it, you let you tutor for a card in your deck,
Right into your hand.
and then your opponent gains control.
Yeah,
of
you
it.
can only activate it as a sorcery.
Yeah.
So, if you play with the key, voltaic key, you can. And you have 2 voltaic keys.
Mm.
You can just tutor up 3 cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, Oko. If food is good, definitely, it's just gonna be good.
Yep.
But if food's not good, it's not gonna be good. Just like energy was.
I think it could still see play without food being amazing.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think
I
it'll
don't
be
think
in
it'd be
those
good.
builds where it buffs
I
things
think
up.
Yeah.
he's really bad when you're behind.
Mm.
Like insanely bad. Like I don't think
Yeah.
turning something into turning like a questing beast into just a 3/3 vanilla isn't good enough. If
I think
you're
it
just
depends what
playing
sort of
him.
deck you are. I think if you're like shooting out blockers,
Yeah.
then it's fine. So I think I like this in elementals, which lack removal.
Mm.
So I think this is the card that you will play to kill the thing that you liked. The 1/2
the
turn
1/2.
off ETBs.
Mm.
So I think this will
To kill it.
Well, to turn it into a 3/3.
To turn into a
abilities.
3/3.
Yeah. If it's a 3/3, it's not a problem. You block
But
it with your heals.
it's we have a couple of those cards already in Simic, and I thought they were great, but they're just not seeing play right now, like the split cards.
It's because Simic
I just
is
really
seeing
want to see
play.
a token
Everything else
deck.
goes
Simic
with
is
Makes
seeing
color.
play.
1/1s and 3/3s.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Simic is seeing play in a way that doesn't need removal.
No.
Because you have to answer it
Yeah.
first.
Which is why I think this deck's gonna be built
The
like
thing
that.
with Oko is he's got lots of really appealing combos, but nothing more beyond that. He's
Yeah.
not good on his
He,
own,
he needs to
which is
slot
kind
into a
of
deck, which makes
a
him
major downside.
Mm.
Yeah, it makes him not a spike card and not like a good
He doesn't
playable
like
guy.
replace
He's a
himself.
utility card.
He lets you gain life eventually.
I
at the same
really
time.
like him with Hero, and I really like him with Dreadhorde Invasion.
Oh, with Hero.
Yeah,
Ooh.
turn 2 Hero, turn 3 play Oko, and you now have a 3/3 instead of a 1/1.
There's gonna be at the end of this season, the next year, there's gonna be a 5-color deck based around Oko, and they just make 1/1s in all the colors, and he's just buffing them up. It's called we'll call it Oko's Gym. You've seen the art for him. You know, he can take a
knows
class.
He works out. Well,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a shapeshifter, so he
Oh,
probably
sure.
doesn't.
Okay, you're right. Actually, he just
just-
opens up a fitness magazine and just
Yeah.
emulates that. Yeah.
So
Alright.
move on.
Yeah.
Right. My last card is Clackbridge Troll. So this is 3 black for a creature troll. It's an 8/8. It has Trample and Haste. When it enters the battlefield,
Oh.
target opponent creates 3 0/white goat creature tokens. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does, tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life and you draw a card.
Now I heard the last iteration of this card did pretty well in standard.
Yeah, Desecration Demon.
Yeah.
It was at the beginning of your upkeep.
No,
was it?
no, it was beginning of every combat.
Yeah,
That's why it was
your
so stupid.
opponent
Because your
could-
opponent's combat.
Your opponent had to sacrifice a creature,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a random token. It was like an actual creature.
Yeah.
To like unless they were playing a tokens deck, which
Yeah.
I don't know. But that card was really only it didn't see play until Devotion came in
Yes.
because it was a really strong card with 2 blacks. In it.
Yeah.
And this card's pretty similar.
You can put it in the mono
You
black
do-
shell. Yeah.
It's better than Desecration Demon in that you draw cards when they
Oh
sacrifice
my
a creature.
God.
So
yeah,
so
that
everyone's really down on this card. No one thinks it's going to be good. It's like one of the cheapest rares on MTG
Oh,
Goldfish.
really?
It's sitting at about $1.
Okay. Okay.
It's I think because like they have printed a lot of like particularly demons
Yeah.
that do this where they come in and then you give your opponent stuff and then they can like offset your demon for a few turns, and usually in those turns you die.
Yeah.
Which makes it not so good. I think this goes in a really aggro deck. So I think this goes in the mono black deck, or possibly maybe like a Golgari deck.
So yeah, I'm slightly worried about this card. Just if you're playing it on an aggro build, you're giving your opponent 3 creatures.
So I think you're okay with that because if you're playing an aggro build, they're down to like hopefully like about 10 life, maybe like 12, probably not more than that. You're not giving them 3, you're giving them 2 because they immediately have to tap this down.
And then immediately replaces itself by drawing a
And
card, which is
immediate-
great
yeah.
for an aggro deck.
Draw your card with that. You're still attacking with your other creatures that you've hopefully played. They either have to chump block with the goat, so they save a little bit of life, and that's 1 less goat to chump to sacrifice to this. Or they save the goat and they're still taking damage off your other creatures, and then every turn they're giving you another card, which will hopefully be an attacker. You're gaining life, and then eventually this is just going to get them.
It's not a
until they
legendary.
kill it.
You can chain them. You can play another one next turn and
Yeah.
another one next turn, and then play Cry, and then just kill them.
Then the one problem with this one is it's competing for a lot of slots. So you've got like Bontum in the same slot as
Bontu doesn't see play though.
I think it could in mono black. So I think
Okay.
what mono black needs to be competitive next standard is that finisher and this one is a lot of damage and draws you card advantage to keep going. So
Well,
I think
if it's $1, I'm definitely gonna try to pick up some at pre-release. That's that card seems really good.
yeah. So
So what's your worst case scenario? You play this, they immediately Doomblade it, or whatever the spell of the time of the day is.
Yeah.
They have 3 goats now.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the worst case.
That's the worst case
Yeah.
scenario.
Is it? Does the text say whenever your opponent sacks a creature, or is it because of that ability?
It's from
No,
that.
if a player sacks the goat or sacks a creature
Oh, sacks a
on
creature?
your combat.
On your combat? It's
Yeah,
specifically on your combat?
For this, yeah.
From that trigger.
From that
specifically,
trigger?
It's an F.
Oh, okay.
It's an F.
I was gonna say you can play against Kaka. Sack a spirit. I'll draw a card. Sack a spirit. I'll draw another card, and then you mill me. Yeah, because it's pretty good in EDH with like a lot of sack stuff going on. But yeah.
I think the reason why I like that, because that's the biggest downside. The reason why I like this in aggro is I think you're curving up to things that cannot be left there.
Yeah.
So in that case, hopefully they've killed your 4-drop, and then you play this, and they go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not always going to work out like that, and that could be the downside that kills this card. But I'm hopeful and optimistic.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your top 3. We'll quickly move on to the next topic about decks we're gonna build for the next set. So you mentioned.
Alright, well I mentioned I'm really excited about Boris Feather. The one thing I'm sad about obviously is Reckless Rage being rotating.
Yeah. Very important card.
Yeah, I do not think you can go Naya in order to get Domri's Ambush and Season of Growth because of the mana base.
So it's a Boros. Yeah.
It would be
Feather?
Boris because,
Yeah.
well, essentially, Feather costs red, white,
Yeah.
and then another white for God's willing.
True. You're not wrong.
You don't want to cast her if you don't have that specific mana. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm going for. And I think...
Can there be a mono white
You got-
build? Not mono white, but like
with
yeah,
a bit
like,
of red.
Yeah. With a
Well, you
slight-
definitely want Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And maybe some...
It's
some of
losing
the-
Reckless Rage, which was a big part
Reckless
of the.
Rage.
Oh, yeah,
You've
yeah.
still got... Yeah, that's a big thing. You've still got Shocks, which is like, okay.
Yeah. Not the same.
Not the same, but you know maybe you could fill out with something else, more combat tricks. I don't know. It
Yeah.
won't be quite as nuts as it was, but maybe it's still
Maybe you don't need
The
them if you
other-
just kill your opponent.
yeah.
The other reason why you have to play more red is because you want to play 10th District Legionnaire
Yeah, you're
on
right.
2,
Yeah.
which is White Rage.
Beyond that, I'm pretty certain that there's going to be some sort of Field of the Dead Golos list.
That deck barely
That's
loses
not
anything.
very exciting, though. To talk about, it's gonna be around for at least week 1.
Yeah.
I was keen for a Hero of Precinct 1 list, maybe Bant, so that you can play Oko and do that combo, or possibly still Esper because you don't lose many of those multicolored creatures that you were playing before. But this is going back to what I was going to talk about mostly, which is the new mana base.
Yeah.
And I think it's just not... I thought it wouldn't be good enough to support 3 colours, but there is Fabled Passage now, which helps quite a lot. It basically means that every deck has a fetch.
Is Fabled Passage gonna be insanely expensive because it's like a dual land that every deck wants to play?
Yeah,
it's
so
just-
I think if you're playing more than one colour, you're playing a playset
Oh.
of this card.
I
God,
think
that
it's going to
card.
go one of 2 ways. One, it's going to be incredibly expensive because it's going to be in almost every deck.
Or cheap because it's bad.
2, it's going to be mid-cost because it's not in all the spiky decks, but it's suddenly going to be amazing for every jank list,
Yeah.
every deck that's trying too hard for their mana base, and it's also going to be that sort of card that you want to buy if you're building a lot of... If you've got like 2 or 3 decks and you don't want to like buy all the shocks and stuff, you just buy a Fabled Passage and it goes in all of them.
It's also highly EDH.
Yeah, it goes in every EDH
Oh yeah,
deck.
go yeah. Also EDH and Brawl.
There's no situation where this card is cheap.
No.
No, I don't
It's
think so.
currently
It's
pre-ordering
currently,
for
like-
about 11, right?
Yeah, it's like 10.
11
I think
years.
this is going to be the
If they
lowest it's
change the
gonna
rules
be.
of Magic where you can't play more than 3 lands, then it would be cheap. But that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, so...
That's the only case it'll ever be cheap. This
Yeah.
line, yeah, it's a chase card.
So modern.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's bad and modern. Don't play it.
So I think most of the time you're going to
Yeah.
stick to 2 colour decks.
Yeah.
You really can't play 3 colour or you're going to get overrun by mono red.
Do you know what's really good though? This card in Postmodern with Fatal Push. It's very
Oh,
excellent.
yeah, triggers
Yeah.
revolt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Tireless tracker.
No one
Triggers off the
except
land.
for Christchurch
Yeah.
cares about
Yeah.
No.
it. Postmodern, but it's going to be amazing in postmodern.
All right. So is that all you
Yeah,
want to
well,
build?
that's really what I'm thinking of, yeah.
For me, it's quite simple. I want to build Cavalcade because it's cheap and it's probably going to be strong. I want to build Mono Green, but oh my god, that deck's going to be expensive. It's got so many mythics. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to afford such a jank deck unless it's tier 1. And then because of today's spoilers, I want to play Dimir Mill because they just released Didn't Say Please today, which is the most ridiculous name for a counterspell, but it's so perfect. And it's a functional reprint of counterspell, mill the top 3 cards. And there's a lot of mill in this set, so I think... And mill is my favorite archetype, so I might try and build a Dimir Mill deck. Yeah, we'll see how that
Cancel
goes.
with a minor upside.
Minor upside. It kills them. It's like Bolt to their library, you know? Think about that. Think about playing Burn, but your opponent starts on 60 life. That's
Actually, when you think about it, if they're drawing 7 cards, they're actually starting at 53 life.
53, yeah,
so it's
exactly.
not
And every
quite-
turn, they take 1 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this does like, what, 1/8
Exactly.
of their life?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. And you can run 8 of them now, so...
Which,
The
It's
counter
like-
spells from the set are all really exciting. We didn't talk about it, but Mystical Dispute, the 2 and a blue, cost 2 less if you're targeting a blue spell.
Yep,
Instant
that's
sideboard card for every blue deck against control.
at least a 2 off in a
Yeah,
control meta,
I
yeah.
think I really like it.
It's a
Yeah.
very small thing.
No, but this
Yeah, but it
kills
counters
Teferi.
Yeah.
You leave
The
one
only
blow
counter
up.
spells that are good are the ones that hit Teferi.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Alright, what about you, Luke? You're a little stuck.
Yeah, so I've been playing Esper for quite a while, and I don't really like it post rotation. I'm also kind of getting bored with it, so I want to try and build something fun, like around Izzet. So it'll either be Izzet Phoenix or something like that.
Why don't you just do
I'm not-
mono black? What's the 6-mana artifact that you play? Bolus's Citadel. Do
Yeah.
mono black Bolus's Citadel.
That could be fun.
Yeah,
Equally, I've played with that card a bit too much
yeah,
now.
fair
so.
enough.
Yeah, I'm excited for something Izzet based because
Yeah.
I love Izzet and I want to try and have Mizzet again.
I think about you as a player. Yeah,
I enjoy playing Izzet.
It's like your hoodie. It's kind of Izzety.
Kind of Izzet.
Yeah, so it's, yeah. Luke the Izzet.
Orange is red now.
yeah, when I think about Izzet, I think about, the new card is an Improbable Alliance. Blue and a red for an enchantment. Whenever you draw your second card for the turn, you
Narset.
make a 1/1 flyer.
Narset.
Yeah,
Narset.
Narset.
What colour is
It's,
Is it? It's a 2-mana
It's-
enchantment.
and
what
you can
colour is
pay-
the flyer?
It's a blue creature.
Oh.
Yeah, what? It's a
Um,
1/1 blue fairy creature with flying. And you can pay 6 to draw a card, then
Mm.
discard a card.
Yeah, I really just want to try the combination of Mizzet and Tobrain.
Um,
That's
Is
fair.
it-
yeah,
every time.
if, because, like, it harkens slightly back to Bitter Blossom.
It is, yeah.
Like,
A wee bit.
I don't, like, if you just cast a cantrip every turn,
Yeah. Which you will.
which
And
you
is it-
can,
yeah.
which you can just literally do.
Yeah.
Narset is a problem, but I don't. Well, unless blue-white control specifically is
Yeah.
a thing in standard, Narset won't be really.
And you got that
good.
new 2-mana card that deals 3 damage to a Planeswalker, which kills Narset after it's 6-1. So, like, it's
Yeah.
not impossible to do your
I
thing.
think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it could be a thing.
Yeah.
Basically.
Fair enough, Luke. What about you, Steph? What are you building in the
Um,
next standard?
Well, I was hoping Elementals was gonna like carry on through,
Yeah.
but for aforementioned reasons, it's pretty questionable.
Hush. No more on that.
There's well, it didn't get any elementals in this, which is the main problem. It's like it's strong without the set, but once the set comes in, there's going to be a lot more power just
Yeah.
in, and it might not fit in the meta. There's the little lips guy.
Lips guy. Oh, those darn lips.
So I'm kind of looking towards mono black and mono green, which I think are both going to be quite aggro-y. Mono green might be a bit mid range, but they're going to have some good cards, which I've kind of talked about. And I think mono green could be quite strong enough. It's not strong enough by the time we get to Theros. It's definitely going to be a deck.
No, for sure. And it's
Yeah.
going to keep getting bigger with Ikoria.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for that. Let's quickly wrap up with just some Magic news that came out today. Everyone here familiar with the 12-win event that's coming up?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Okay, so here I'll let you guys know. So when Eldraine comes out, there's going to be a really cool event where over the weekend you can play with the entire collection unlocked. You get every single card. However, you can play 12 times. So during those, you can change your decks, you can build new decks, you can net deck whatever you want. It's an opportunity to try whatever you want. That's amazing. Then the next weekend, they bring back the event and you can build. You get the entire collection again. However, you can only enter this event once, and if you go 12 wins before you get 2 losses, your prize is a single copy of every single card in Standard. You just need to go 12-1 or 12-0. That's it.
That's
Now,
a lot of
It's
value.
easy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there's incremental rewards. So if you go 11 wins, you get 1 card of every card in Eldraine, and then there's
Oh,
wild cards.
I didn't know that. That
Yeah.
makes that a lot better.
Yeah, so 10, 9, 8.
Because
You want to get as far as you can to get more cards.
It's
Yeah.
like it's very feasible to go sort of 7 wins.
Yeah.
Seven wins is sort of
Yeah.
pushing it, but okay.
And I think that gives you like a
12
big
wins,
package of wild
very few
cards.
people are gonna be able to do that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I'm really glad Wizards is doing this, and it's gonna be really fun to do. And I hope one of us gets to
Wow.
12-1.
I
'cause
wonder
that'd be
how
fun.
many people in the world are going to get 12.
I know, right? It just seems ridiculous.
It seems
I mean,
like
just mathematically, it's very unlikely.
Really unlikely. And, which made me think, if you go 12-1, they should just give you the whole damn Standard. Why is there one copy of every card in
I mean,
Standard?
that's a really
It
small
should just be
difference.
the whole. Come on, you went 12-1. Come on.
Isn't it like 1% to go 6-1?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Assuming
Every-
50%.
it's like
Yeah.
every card
I mean,
ever.
Yeah.
And don't
Although-
your matchups are gonna get harder and harder because they're gonna put you up against better players.
I wonder.
Mm.
It's probably not legal in the terms and conditions, but I wonder if you could sell your account if you did. For example, let's say you go 12-1 and you win a copy of every play set. But I'm pretty sure you could probably sell your account on Amazon.
You're gonna get a playset though. You just get 1 card.
Oh yeah, but if it was a play set, that's probably why they didn't do it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
did a play set, you could probably sell your arena
I
account for
mean,
like
one
$500.
card's still a good starter account, but I don't know how big the market is for
Yeah.
that.
So that's coming up. We'll probably make a video about it. We'll probably
Don't
make a
break
video.
Wizards' terms of use.
Yeah, yes, that too. We're probably gonna go 2-2 or something. Well, yeah, it'll be really interesting because I think the part about that though is that it's gonna solve Standard so fast. People are gonna
Maybe.
brew so hard to try get it. I think it comes out the second weekend of Eldraine, so it's
Arena
just
standard is not the same as competitive standard.
No. I don't even know if it's best of 1 or best of 3 actually. So that's gonna be a thing. Yeah.
Oh,
But
best
before
of
the
one,
best
lose
of
one.
three.
Yeah.
Best of one.
Very long event.
Capital Clay. Yeah.
Worth it.
So that's pretty much the big news. There's all this other stuff happening with the collector boosters and all that junk, but we won't get into that too much. So, well, thank you guys for joining us for another podcast. We went a little long, but I mean, long. We don't really have an established format yet, so
There's lots
Thank
to
you.
talk about.
yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and we're still doing this only monthly, so
Yeah, we didn't even talk about limited yet.
limited. Yeah, so there's a lot to talk about limited. Maybe we'll do one in another
Maybe.
3 or 4 months. Maybe in our next
3 or
monthly
4
podcast.
months?
No, 3 weeks. 3-4 weeks. It'll be on feature because
Shaking
we've got a
still
couple
hands, guys.
other people. So have fun, everybody. Have fun at your Eldraine. Check us out on Wednesday, and yeah, just enjoy the new Standard, and don't feel too sad about saying goodbye to Teferi and Nexus of Fate. All right, see you later, everyone. You guys all said goodbye last time. No, this time. Okay.
Goodbye.
There you go.
Bye.
Yay! All right, sweet.
You have to put that in there now.
Yes.